try to explain what I'm feeling in a song. It's the only way that I've ever moved my wagon along. And I've got my head just above the fray. Comes with a price I hope I never have to pay. Well, I've never seen times such as these. Living like I was everybody I was trying to please. Freaking people out to see this side of me. And I'm leaving myself wide open 'cause I want you to see the real me. I want you to see the real me. One never knows where life's gonna take them, even if you think you own the end. And I like to think I got nothing more to say. And all my passion seems to be getting in the way. So strange all the time, such as these. I want it all to stop, at least slow down, please. Oh, me. Oh, me. Oh, me. Oh, me. Let me try to explain my feelings in a song. It's the only way I ever move my wagon along. And now let me try to explain my feelings in a song. It's the only way that I ever move my wagon along.
Well, there you go, folks. You just heard this track from their new album, Ruffled Feathers, and that was Feelings in a Song. And we're going to have these two people as our guests today from Sugarcane Jane. And I'm very pleased to know that they're going to be with us today. We're talking about Anthony Crawford and Savana Lee, who have been forced to contend with in Southern Alabama with their incredible Americana sound. And I'm just going to introduce to you for a moment before we talk to them. We're going to talk about their new album, which I'll just put up there in a second. You'll see it, Ruffled Feathers. Okay, that's the new album. It's out in all the different outlets right now. It just came out on the 14th of August, and you'll be able to buy it on all the different places that it's available on. And I hope that you'll enjoy it as much as I did. I've been listening to this almost like 24/7. It really does give, I think, a sense of how a big portion of America feels. I would say that it really connects with what's irking a lot of Americans right now, especially in the wake of and the continuing wake, if we will, of the pandemic, the COVID-19, as well as we had all kinds of riots happening, And of course, we're on the eve of an election. Now, I'm from Canada, so I can observe all of this from a distance, but not to say that we don't get, somehow affected by what's going on with our friends down south. So it really is important for us as well to understand what's going on. So in a few minutes, you're going to meet Anthony Crawford and Savana Lee of Sugarcane Jane.
Hello?
Hi.
Is this Peter the Healer?
Yes. No, actually, I'm the audio engineer for the show, Peter the Healer, your celestial broadcaster.
Where is Peter the Healer?
That's a good question. I really don't know. I've been trying for the last 10 minutes trying to reach him, but he's not answering.
Have you tried tuning into 528 Hertz, the love frequency?
No, that's a good idea. I'll give it a try. Let's see what happens. Hey, you know what? I think I'm getting some
Radio Noise.
Rádio Noise 593,
Anybody out there?
DJ e produtor brasileiro Rod Novaes.
This is Peter Desmond Kelly, host of Peter the Healer, your celestial broadcaster, the place for great interviews where I ask the questions nobody else does. And we're just about to meet our guests, Anthony Crawford and Savana Lee of Sugarcane Jane, coming from down south in Alabama. And the great thing about these two is it seems that they have incredible ability to make every song a hit, at least, in terms of lyrics, the harmony of their voices together, incredible guitar playing from Anthony Crawford and the melodies. I mean, we're talking about Americana and really talking about the soul of America for many, many people. And now what we see is the studio, it looks like.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get my camera to stick.
Oh, yeah, you got one of these little things like I do, you stick it on there on the top of the monitor, that type of thing.
And hope for the best.
Yeah, hope for the best. Hope that all the angels and whatever are operating, and also I should say the internet fairies and angels, because they have to be on our side, if you know what I mean. If they're not if they're not on our side, then all kinds of funny things can happen to the signal, the internet. You may find that my face might fade in and out sometimes, but that's all to be expected. So what I've got here in the background, I'll just move my head out of the way, is their latest album, Ruffled Feathers. And I think this is something that's going to really help for many people to comfort. I see you guys as comforting many people.
Oh, nice.
Hi, welcome. So this is your studio, right?
It is, yes. This is a recording studio. I have my beautiful Sound Workshop Series 34 analog console and an old 1940s RCA microphone over here, and
All right.
a lot of old toys.
But I bet they work just as well, if not better, than some
Well,
of the
they're
modern
working
gadgets.
You look like you're coming from heaven with those stars behind you.
Well, actually, you know where I am. You ask, while you ask, you're asking me. I'm coming from my spaceship.
Nice.
Okay, the spaceship, which I use for my radio show, is have the show Peter the Healer, Your Celestial Broadcaster. That's where I'm at, and I'm hovering wherever I go. You know, I mean, I was in Japan yesterday. I was in Germany last week. I was in Alabama actually last week as well. We had a fellow who was doing exorcisms.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So you got
Really?
a lot. You got a lot of spirit happening down there.
Nice.
So welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Nice to have you here. And
Hey, listen. If
I
our
had-
phone drops to the floor for a second, I'll have to retape it up to the stand.
oh, you have to retape your phone?
Yeah, somehow we have a little thing that sticks on a tripod, and I don't know. I think maybe it's
We normally have a landscape mode, but we did not see that option, but looks like you're in landscape mode.
Yeah. Well, you should be able to do that.
Okay. We got to work on that.
yeah. Well,
What
that's
if-
okay. Listen,
Technical.
What if you just turn your camera in the landscape position? That
let's
might
just
work.
see.
No. Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Hey,
that did work.
Yeah. Well,
that's better.
let me take the tape off.
In fact,
Fantastic.
yeah. Well, that's much better because with two of you, it takes up more space. So it's good to have it in landscape mode for sure.
Okay. Well, good. Let me
Absolutely.
get this tape off of here. All right. Man, life is good now. So it's good to know that you approve of our music.
Well,
I think you do.
what I find amazing, obviously, you know, when you're skilled as you are, you can just sit for a week and put together a new album.
Well,
That doesn't
Now tell
happen
me
every
the
day.
inspiration behind that.
well, I have to say that the way things are going right now, with just the bombardment of negativity that's happening around the world, you know, and especially it seems like the epicenter of it is here in the United States.
Right.
But I think that the ambiguity of our personas to the people that we were performing to over the last 11 years was something that the time of that ran out on us. We no longer just sit by and be silent singers of just songs. You know, we felt like that we were, as we traveled through our career together, we came upon a new valley with soil that was so rich with opportunity, and we just dropped the seeds of our thoughts into that ground, and it grew so quickly. It was a Jack and the Beanstalk moment for us. We came out and told people that we were, you know, spiritual people. We never told anybody how we felt about politics or religion, the two things you don't want to discuss with people. And there's a reason for that, because I think that when you tell people how you feel, you are immediately going to polarize yourself with a lot of people.
Right.
So the fact that we came out and it just
We have 3 kids. I think we felt like we had to.
we're concerned with the future, you know, and it's not such a cut and dry thing for us. You know, we're a lot like everybody that came to our shows. We're not super conservative, and we're not anti-liberal, anything. You know, we're like a mixture of both. But one thing we are for sure concerned about is the violence and the anger that is manifested lately, and where it's headed. It doesn't seem like there's an ending point to it. And so we just felt so committed to this because we wanted to get some skin in the game, if you will, because of our kids. You know, it's just,
Sure.
it's, you know, we see the future of what they're going to have to grow up with is a battle right now for that. So
Mm-hmm.
we felt a Holy Spirit come over us. I'm telling you, it was so real, and it still is real for us. But I wrote 9 songs in 6 days, fully produced. Every song was recorded in about 2 hours. It went from not even existing to she taught me how to get on Facebook Live. And when she did that,
Congratulations. That's
yeah,
a bit of a challenge. I know I've been there too.
I never knew that it was just a button you could push and all of a sudden you're talking to people. But what the thing was the Spirit.
It's too simple.
It is too simple, and you can get yourself in trouble, which, I had to really figure out that a lot of people are watching potentially. And if you leave it up there, it does stir up some dust. You can't just think you're talking one-on-one. You're talking to a lot of people potentially. But thankfully, we're a duo, but we had a co-writer on this, the Holy Spirit, because we honestly were inspired by this moment. And so the 9 songs in 6 days came out, and then I had an instrumental that I actually call it the Holy Spirit song. It's Holy Spirit. And so Savannah put together the graphics. So within about a 7 or 8 day period, we wrote, produced, and were able to send off to be manufactured a new project, which we had just finished another project the month prior to this. So we've been very prolific.
Have you ever? Wow. I wonder if perhaps I should read to the audience your bio. You sent me a bio, so I'm going to read that to them. And then what I thought we could do, I see you have your guitar there, so if you wanted to, the two of you do a tune or two. I also have queued up a whole bunch of songs, from some from the past, some from the present, and using YouTube, because we're going to have the visual and the music at the same time, if you don't mind, and then you can comment on them. How's that? So I'll read your bio. How's that? That sounds good. Now, you know what? Now that we have the visual component, because I used to do this show many years ago, BBS in the California Paradise, and I was broadcasting through their station, and it was just online radio. But now that we have this feature, it's fabulous video and music and audio. Okay, here we are, the Sugarcane Jane bio. Sugarcane Jane is Anthony Crawford and Savana Lee, Americana's husband-wife duo from Alabama's Gulf Coast. Between them, they have decades of rich musical experience. Anthony's an in-demand multi and producer who has worked with such notables as Neil Young, Steve Winwood, and Dwight Yoakam. The music they make together is simple and direct, rooted in country and rock, and anchored by their sweet and soulful harmonies. Sugarcane Jane's latest release and 10th studio album, Ruffled Feathers, Songs in the Key of Me, came out in a flurry of thoughts over a 1-week period, recorded, mixed, and mastered at Admiral Bean Studio, that's it, in Loxley, Alabama. CD packaging includes a 12-page lyric booklet. Official release date is set for August 14, 2020. And got to read this excellent critic here. An album that deserves to be at the top of critics' lists and one of the best duos since Johnny and June, the Washington Times. Wow, that's quite a critic, and I've seen there's quite a few others that I've been reading there as well. So you guys have quite a bit of acclaim, not just for your recent stuff, but obviously for other stuff that you've been doing as well. What would you like to do? It's up to you. It's your show. I'm just here hosting, but I'd like you to be part of the direction, if you will, and I'm sure you can handle it. I've got a whole bunch of songs lined up. I can play those. You can talk about them. You've got your guitar. What does your spirit tell you to do?
Well, my spirit told me that I think part of what I would love for people to hear is the instrumentation of the CD itself, because it's going to sound quite different than just me playing acoustic, but it has a very Neil Young guitar sound to it, because when I played with Neil, I pretty much through osmosis picked up a lot of his sound and style, and that serves these songs very well. And so my spirit tells me that I want that to be there, but also my spirit tells me that I think that it would be wise to actually sing a song so that people could hear the simplicity of what we sound like, just with sitting around a campfire, if you will. So
yes, I'm together with you, and I've seen a lot of your videotapes and on YouTube, and there's that feeling of intimacy that comes through when you're just setting up a stage in a campfire type of setting outside. There's a magic in that type of a setting that you don't get in a full, stadium, let's say. And so we'll put a bit of that there. I'm not, fortunately, we can take as long as we need to, so don't worry about it.
okay.
We'll perhaps what I can do then is I started off with one of the songs from Ruffled Feathers, and that was a nice way to start off. But we'll feeling a song. I think feelings
In a song, yeah.
Yeah. That was the first song that I introduced to you guys, and it just had that kind of comfort element in it. And you mentioned Neil Young. Of course, you probably know that he's a Canadian now. He turned into an American recently.
Oh, yeah, dual citizenship.
Yeah. You guys, though, I think you come from different. You're still friends, right?
I would like to think so, but I think Neil is in control of that. If it was up to me, I would probably talk to him more than he would talk to me.
Okay.
But I think that being the genius that he is, those kind of people are always just involved in projects, and he's a very heavy person. He's not a lapdog friend. He's a serious man, and
Okay.
I think that I was totally blessed to start my career being involved with him, because he is the top shelf liqueur. He gave me a lot of credibility in my life beyond him, and I owe so much to him, even though we would go against the grain with each other because of whatever reason. I'm not really sure what it was. It was not always a smooth ride for me with Neil, but I can only say that I was a very green stick musician when I got the job with him. And, are you still, there we go. You might go get the power cord. I myself being led down a path of destiny with Neil Young, and I always was a huge fan of his. And so in order to just to be involved with him at all was amazing. But been on so many tours and shows and projects, songs, and just everything that you would dream of as a musician, to be around a rock star like that. It's an honor, no doubt.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I'm sensing from you, I know you have your political views and your point of view, and I'm sure Neil has his. He's certainly been very open about his opposition to you know who. In fact, that's the reason that he became an American citizen, right?
Right.
To lodge his opposition. Now he's got a lawsuit going against the campaign because of a song that is being used. But so the point I'm trying to make here is there a way through music to bridge the big divide, the polarization that we have right now in North America? You know, I say Canada, you know, we're up here above you guys. I like to say we're above you guys and we can see everything that's going on. Of course, especially in my spaceship, I'm often looking down.
That's right.
Saying, what the heck is going on down there? Anyway, but we're very close to you guys. As you may know, I mean, we've certainly had shared a lot of things in the past and continue to share. And I think the biggest feeling that we have up here is we're very concerned. We're very concerned about what is going on.
Well, who wouldn't be? It's disturbing to everyone. And so, yes, Savannah and I will just say it's very much it's a leap of faith to come out and declare that you are a conservative person in a liberal driven business. I mean, I think that some people might find that to be unfair of me to say that it's a liberal driven business, but that's just from our observation that most of the venues and most of the opportunities are controlled by people who would not be voting for the orange one. You know what I'm saying? It's like they do not like that man. And so you know, we find that having any kind of opinion about it has been like an amazing, it's like a firecracker going off in a church or something. It's just, it's like, what? You support him? And it's like, well, my choices were slim and none. So, I mean, and we're talking about back in 2016, that's where I voted for him because I didn't want to vote for her. And I had just seen the Clinton show, all I wanted to see. So I just was just trying to get some new blood in there.
Well, you know, I think the media itself makes it difficult for people to figure out what's really happening because everyone is focused on ratings, no matter what side of the fence you're on. And that's what, you know, his song, Let the Media Die, was about. The news media promoting tragedy to get ratings. And it's such a divider for this country. So, you know, you're having to like check your news source and then check that source. And then you find yourself to be like some sort of investigator. I mean, who has time for that? I mean, it seems like used to, you could just turn on the news and pretty much, you know, that was what was happening, but it's not the case anymore. So I think there's just, especially in other countries, I think they're getting news sources that are biased. I mean, I'm sure they're all biased, you know, to some degree. So what's really happening in the United States is something that you have to dig into a little further.
Well, our journey here started with a simple liking a post about something. Something as simple as clicking a thing that goes a thumbs up, a like, you know, of a post that was pro-Trump, okay? It was just something simple, like I don't even know what it was, but Savannah did it. And
Okay, blame it on the woman.
I'll take
I'm
fine with it.
Well, no, what the thing is she has more people that listen to her. I never do anything on Facebook at the time. Now I went full blown into just with her on it. She would just have to be the first one that we always decided not to do anything because it's so polarizing. But it got to a point when you see people getting beaten with a 2x4 just for protecting their little store in a city. It was just frightening to us. You know, we're not fighters, we're lovers, we're musicians, you know, we're just people that are compassionate. And when you see the disturbing images, it does make you look at your surroundings and say to yourself, this is an election year down here, and we need to be careful about what we're doing here. And then all of a sudden you get into this defunding the police and then this and that, and it's just heavy. And it's so heavy. And it just all started like in March. So we're all new to this. So we just felt like after being called rednecks living in a bubble, that's our new thing, is that people think because we are conservative, they somehow think we're, you know, we're rednecks living in a bubble of whatever, but we're worldwide thinking people as much as anybody. Our accents don't sound like it maybe, but we're thinkers, you know, we're intelligent people, and we are trying to make decisions that will affect years down the road for our kids. So the reason why we came out and in support of the president is just because we felt like that was the better choice. It's just
a better choice. And I think that we've given 11 years of showing people who we are as people, and what we decide, how we decide to vote, ultimately should not make it to where someone is shaming you, blackballing you, ridiculing, criticizing. None of that. That's what I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for tolerance. Allow people to be themselves. I don't care who someone else is going to vote for. I really don't. If they're a kind person, I got no problem with it. And if they want to speak their mind on their own personal social media pages, then more power to them. That's what a democracy is all about. So I'm trying to get people to feel comfortable speaking out, and also watch what you say to people, because don't spread hate, spread love. Allow people to think for themselves and make their own choices. You know, as long as they're not hurting anyone else, they're not hurting you. We all have a vote, and we should stand up for what we believe in. Everyone should.
Okay. Well, I guess the question is, and that people have to develop a way to discern for themselves what to believe and what not to believe, because there's so much information out there, much of which is misinformation or biased or outright not true. So we're going to, I'm going to switch to, I mean, I obviously, I'm picking up, you have a lot of passion, you have a lot of, you know, desire to make things right and to appeal to people. You just don't want people to just turn you off just because you have a certain leaning towards conservative rather than liberal. So let's listen to some of your music, shall we? This next one, Southern State of Mind, which I think would be very appropriate given that you're now, you know, speaking your mind. And Southern State of Mind, it's coming right up in a moment. And I'll just get this out of the way.
Where I long to be is underneath that live oak tree, sipping cool iced tea, writing my poetry, where the gentle breeze sweetens my memories. That's the me you will find in a southern state of mind. Na, 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 na. Cotton fields so wide, glowing in the pale moonlight, underneath the sky, on a sultry August night, like a mystery. Mystically it waits for me, pieces of what I find in my southern state of mind. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na.
On a front porch swing, old familiar songs we sing, sharing the night with the first love of my life.
Through tears I see it's all coming back to me, precious, sweet, and kind, my southern state of mind. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na.
Beautiful song. Thank you.
Thank you.
Really, really nice. I love it. And you
Awesome.
know, what begs the question here is, how did you guys first meet?
Well, Savannah usually answers this question.
We met in Nashville at a recording studio that I was managing, and it was called Deep Field Studio. Anthony came in to record some songs, and that's how we met. It was in the year 2000, and we were both in different relationships at the time. It took us 9 years to eventually become one, and you know, I fell in love with his music when I heard it. It was very exciting to be living in Nashville, and I heard this music that didn't sound like anything else coming out of Nashville. So I fell in love with his music first, and we became friends. And then 9 years later, we ended up together. So it's
Yeah,
a beautiful thing.
and we're all blessed to have you together now, and you have 3 children together as well.
We do.
Yes.
Beautiful. So you've got, I mean, what's wonderful about the videos, of course, is that we can get up close and personal in your private life, and you seem to be quite willing to share that with everyone. And I think what that does, it adds an element of purity and soul and love. I mean, if anything is needed now in the world, that's something for sure that we need. And I think, you know, regardless of what side you're on, I think that the important message here is we need to bridge that gap. There's a huge gap.
Absolutely.
That's right.
You know,
So true.
and you know, so it's through music. I mean, we know where Neil Young stands. You made it very obvious, and you're coming from the other side, and but you both have this genius of music and writing songs.
Well, that's
And
nice to be lumped in a same sentence with Neil. I think that my writing ability took a giant leap over the last 2 months. You're looking at a person who, honestly, through that spirit that I've been talking about, I really do feel like that the songs off of Ruffled Feathers, the song that you just heard, Southern State of Mind, is from a previous release about 2 or 3 releases ago. But this new CD, which I think my spirit says that we should probably play this one on the acoustic guitar, because it is about bridging the gap between people, and it's called "I'm Gonna Grow Me a New Mind," and it's just about trying to think about things in a different way and not be so stuck in the unbudging position of your let's see, you know, just how you feel, and you're not willing to budge. You know, I really feel like that having a little bit of patience with other people is where I'm coming from. I'm trying my hardest to show tolerance and an open mind. And so that's where the "I'm Gonna Grow Me a New Mind" song comes from. It hit me so quickly and just so positive. Walking from the house to the studio, pretty much the whole thing was written in just a short stroke of a pen. It was amazing.
Well, go right ahead if you're willing to play
Let's
that
do it.
now acoustically. The two of you, I'm honored to have you
Awesome.
sing this right now in the studio.
Well, here we go. I'm gonna grow me a new mind. See, I know to be pure. Clear with the best water I can find. I'm gonna grow me a new mind. And let the Spirit give me words. Share them with my friends. I'm gonna say what I want to say. Live it out each and every day. Gonna be kind though I'm burning inside. I'm gonna grow me a new mind, yeah. Well, I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring. Show you what I love the most about the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. That's the butter that I put on my toast. Let the Spirit give me words. Share them with my friends. When I get my wheels off in the ditch, get the ugly all over me. Before I go and flip that switch, I pray to God I don't scratch that itch. I'm gonna say what I want to say, living it out each and every day. Gonna be kind when I'm burning inside. I'm gonna grow me a new mind. Let the Spirit give me words. Share them with my friends. I'm gonna grow me a new mind. Seed I know to be pure. Feed her with the best water I can find. I'm gonna grow me a new mind.
Wow.
Woo!
I don't
Yeah.
know which version I like better, the studio version or this version, but the words are just fantastic. They just
Thank you.
they
Well, that's
just,
my co-writer. I'm not that smart. That's a Holy Spirit driven lyric. All the lyrics to this CD, I can't claim them. It just came to me like they were. I was supposed to sing them. Yes,
channeled
channeled.
through you. Sure.
Totally.
I know the feeling.
I'm not that.
Probably came right around where your head is right there. Just
That's it. Yeah, right up here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Think so.
There's actually the 5 stars are over here. The 5 pillars, right? Love,
That's not the
respect.
Pleiades, is it?
It may be. I go out in different places. Yeah, we had quite a show, still continuing, but it was really quite active where I am. The meteor shower that's a different constellation, but it's wonderful. It's like you have stardust that's falling into your heart, and you're writing these amazing lyrics. I've got another song lined up called "The Original Peace and Love."
Right.
It's a recent
What
one.
can you tell me about? Because you're talking to someone, of course, as you can see by my look. I'm not like not wet behind the ears. I've been around in the rodeo a few times, and so I'm certainly relating to this song, "The Original Peace and Love."
Yeah.
What, if anything, would you add before we play that? Any other things
How about
you'd like
play
to
it
say?
and then I'll refamiliarize myself.
Okay. And this is from which album?
This is from Fellow Man, which we released in like June of this year.
Right.
This is the one that we did right before
Yeah.
this batch
Okay.
of songs. It just
Okay.
kind of flew by, and we just had more to say, so we moved on to the next album. But yeah, there's some good ones on there for sure.
That's cool. Okay, so let's hear this one. The original Peace and Love.
What I see is heartbreaking. How much further can we go? Have you ever in your life seen such a mess? And honestly, I don't think I can say the past was ever so unkind. And I grew up in the 60s, the original peace and love. What I feel is encouraging to know it all comes back around. But then again, it is election year, and honestly, I don't think I can say the past was ever so unkind. And I grew up in the 60s, the original peace and love. Now what I know is very little. The facts are very unclear. Somehow it all feels so familiar. And honestly, I don't think I can say the past was ever so unkind. And I grew up in the 60s, the original peace and love.
Well, there you go, folks. What you just heard was the original Peace and Love by Sugarcane Jane. And we're going to really have, I think, a lot of great songs already. We're doing well with the songs that we have. How are you feeling so far?
I'm feeling really good about being in your spaceship. This is good.
It gives us a different perspective. That's what I like about it, because when we're too close to things, we often lose the ability to see properly what's really going on, if you know what I mean.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, too close. Just what
Too
is
close to what's happening.
Yeah.
You're too close. You can't see the forest for the trees.
There you go. That
And-
was the one I was looking for.
Yeah, I love these cliches because they really do apply in so many different situations, and this being one of them. My goodness, right now I think that's the trouble with a lot of people, is that they're too close. They can't see the bigger picture, and they're too caught up in their own beliefs, their own points of view, and there's this polarization that. Is very emotional, right? I mean,
It is very emotional times. I think that's one thing, that being able to not look at your Facebook or Twitter or any social media in general, and just spend the time going outside and doing something in your yard, or doing something with your children, or taking your loved one out to dinner, or just anything other than keeping up with what's going on right now, because what's going to happen is going to happen. I have a feeling that no matter who votes, how many people vote, I'm not so sure that it's not just already decided what we're all doing. You know, I think that something about this whole event is out of our control, and we're in a spiral, a downward spiral, a chaotic energy that just can be turned off instantly by saying to yourself, I'm going to give it a break. I'm going to grow me a new mind. And then I tell you what, I've experienced that over the last couple of weeks. I seriously quit looking at my Facebook and any of that stuff, and just gave it a break. And I just cannot believe how much more peaceful I am in my heart.
I have to say, I mean, you know, you're involved in media, and, you know, media is a big part of what we do, whether we like it or not. I'm not so opposed to being on Facebook, but I am in agreement with don't spend all day doing it, of course. But more that I want to say to people is just allow people to have their opinion. We need to be able to separate our friendships from people's views politically or religiously or any of that. I don't have a problem doing that, but some people do, and that's the thing that I'm trying to understand from people. You know, it's just to have tolerance and be able to be people and just know, like, okay, there's a walking Republican or there's a walking Democrat. You know, you're not trying to change their mind. It's not like you're going to go and get into some kind of debate with these people.
I'm just too sensitive for me personally to do it every day and then keep that spirit inside of me that writes these songs with me. Even though the spirit came to me in chaos, the spirit also tells me, back off a little bit and allow me to guide you through a little valley of peace for a minute. And I tell you what, somebody said, I mean, I have had people tell me, somebody said something that I think they meant to hurt me, but I took it in the way I wanted to take it. They said, why don't you just play music? And I was like, okay. I mean, it was like, okay, I think that's a good idea. I mean, I guess they expected me to drop an F-bomb on them and do something different. But I thought, you know, that's a good idea. I'm just going to play some music for a little while, make music, and not say anything. And then, you know, of course, we have to keep reevaluating why we're even involved in it. And like Savannah said, we're not trying to change anybody's mind. We're just discussing things, and mainly we're just pushing tolerance. And so, kindness and tolerance, because it's just a real kind of a weird thing going on.
I say don't say anything that you wouldn't say to your mother, okay? If everybody could do that, then it'd just be better. I mean, I'm just promoting love and kindness, allow people to have their own opinions, but I think you should pay attention to your body. And if your body is stressed out or angst out or any of that, then you need to disconnect and get outside and give it a break. I'm all about that too, you know, just listen to your body, but don't go and like be condescending or ugly to people just because of how they feel. They have total right to feel however they feel.
Or just tune into your show. I feel unbelievably comfortable.
Well, you know, thank you for that. You know, I try to make it as comfortable as possible from a different perspective. You know, I mean, when I'm up here in my spaceship, you know, it's incredible when we see everything from this angle. Everything looks beautiful.
It's a neutral zone for sure.
Exactly. So on that note, I have another song queued up here, which may help people to take themselves away. So far, we've been playing a lot of ballads, right, and nice songs. Now, I'm not saying this isn't a nice song, but it certainly, I think, picks up some of the discord and chaos that a lot of us are feeling, and especially those who are involved in what's happening in the United States. I'm referring to the song Sugarcane Jane and the Bucket Fillers, Louisiana.
Huh?
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's cue it up, and we'll hear this one right now coming up in a moment.
I just had to get that out of the way. There's a tree that runs from here all the way to New Orleans. And I ride here every night in my dreams.
Yeah, well, that's what you call a fevery pitch. Whoa, fantastic. I mean, you really, you know, get people up in a big, excitement flurry or at the end. That's wonderful. Wow. I mean, that's the
Yeah,
art.
I was sick as a dog on that show. That was I had me like a cold or something. I mean, I remember that. It was like
Wow.
I was having to really pull from a deep energy well for that one.
Wow. Wow.
I recall that.
Certainly.
But yeah, that was a great night.
Yeah, and
Pulled
that
it
was where was that again? It was
It's over in Destin, Florida.
No, it's
Okay.
like Santa Rosa Beach. It was during the 30A Songwriters Festival. They had a big festival over there, and that was a place called Kaliza.
Wow, a really amazing, and you could hear it in the crowd, the audience. I mean, they were just going nuts, as I was too.
Yeah,
I
it was
watch
good.
every time I listen to that.
Well,
I
that's
go,
awesome.
Oh my goodness, it's you're really, what you do. You get into the real passion. A lot of the music today is missing this passion, this
Yes, yeah.
gutsy, internal combustion that is
Right on, Peter.
really lit when you guys are doing your stuff. It's just amazing, and at different levels too.
That's
I gotta
fantastic.
say, here you got a song we just heard, Louisiana, which turns up the tempo quite a bit and puts you in a real feverish sense of chaos and excitement at the same time. But then you've got your ballads that are more soft and gentle. And you seem to have moved more into the ballad side of things, certainly with Ruffled Feathers. Do you have another song from that album that you'd like me to play for you? Ruffled
Let's
Feathers.
see. Yeah, I think one, and actually, Peter, what I really wanted to have a different drum beat for this record. I wanted it to be a groove. I didn't think of it as a balladish kind of thing, but we have been just a boom pat boom pat boom pat boom pat, just for so long. It's just that kind of beat you on the head with energy kind of thing, and it's really worked well for us, especially when you go open for somebody. You have 30 minutes to do a show, and that's a great way to get a standing ovation, is just to get people up and keep them there. You do a bunch of ballads for opening act and you're like, it's a snooze fest. So we have that ability to do it. But on Ruffled Feathers, it was more about the lyrical content, and we wanted music that people could groove to. So I think that there was one song that Waiting on Answers, I believe that's the one with the mandolin in it, and I was inspired by Blind Faith type production, like Can't Find My Way Home, or
Sure.
I was thinking English production when I did this song. So that might be a nice one to play.
What's the name of it
Is
again?
that the one?
Waiting on Answers.
Waiting on Answers.
Okay. And this one is a little bit more about what exactly you're waiting for. Where are we trying to find? Here we are. I got it. Okay, great. All right, so hold on. I'm gonna cue it up. I had a bunch of songs, quite a few songs, but that one I didn't have on the list, but I got it now. So I'm just gonna share the screen and then we'll be able to hear it. All right, great.
Please don't try to change my mind. I quite like it here. The wind blows strong as we move to a song and dream. that's burned. Ruffling the feathers make it hard for the birds to fly. Sometimes inspiration lives, inspiration sometimes dies. We're all waiting, waiting on answers, while the answers are nowhere to be found. And with a glimmer of hope that all is not lost, for this my grip is strong. May we someday return, rebuild all that's burned. We're all waiting, waiting on answers, while the answers are nowhere to be found. With a glimmer of hope, all is not lost, for this my grip is strong. And may we someday return, rebuild all that's burned. Please don't try to change my mind. I quite like it here.
Wow, that's great. That's really
Thank you.
thumbs up so much that people, I'm sure, are feeling everywhere right now. Especially, we're all waiting. Isn't that sort of what we feel? The waiting,
Yeah.
waiting, waiting. What's going to happen?
Yeah, someone to tell
there's-
us what to do.
What to do? There's so many things going on. I mean, yeah, you got an unprecedented year, really, 2020. It's really been amazing. But of course, if we're going to ever survive, and not just survive, but excel, we have to somehow bring together all the different parts of humanity. There's all different parts that I think are, and here I am, I seem to be breaking up. I'm sorry, sometimes your song from YouTube was breaking up, but again, we have sometimes difficulty in the connection. So that's been par for the
Well,
course.
that happens on our end as well. But Peter, I think that is why this music is so close to our heart, is that it is in the spirit of the moment right now, where people are waiting on answers and to finally find out what just happened, what was that, what did we, it was just like you got bitch slapped by somebody, and all of a sudden, what? I mean, it's just out of the blue. And I mean, we're all just going along with our life. Savannah and I had two lined up, going up to New York and just back out on the road. We had a career that was in full speed ahead. We had finally reached a level of touring that was taking us out of smaller venues and putting us in front of larger crowds. And it just came to a complete halt. So I think that just whatever is causing this, it made it to where it's difficult for people to know where they're headed. And, you know, so that's why all these lyrics mean so much to us. Louisiana and all those songs, they're all really good songs, but they're not as personal to me as this. This is, I will never forget writing these songs.
And that's why we put it out the way we did. I mean, typically you would, you know, get everything together, and then you would get your radio promoter and your publicist, and they would have your material all packaged up for several months prior to a release. We did not do it that way. We got the songs out there just, you know, as fast as we wrote them. Just, you know, it just felt like it was the right thing to do. We just wanted to get it to people because hopefully that people will find some hope and some healing in some of these songs.
Yeah, well, I think that
There's-
that's certainly what people are looking for, hope. They want to have some kind of sense that there is a future. It's not going
You're right.
to be, you know, continuing in the same vein. I mean, you have like three major events this year, right? There's one thing after another, and I don't think people have had time to recover yet from the first one, the pandemic.
No.
You had the riots,
Well,
and then you have the election. I mean, my goodness.
You got
And
the
prior to that, you
corn
had
shortage. You got
prior to that, you had, it first started out in 2016 with just the Russia collusion thing. Then it went to just the Brett Kavanaugh Justice, you know, Chief Justice thing. And then it went from that to just Ukraine. And then it went from that to impeachment. Then it went from that to COVID. And then it went to riots. Now it's one thing after another. I think people are just worn out.
Right. That's the way to say it. That's the best way to explain. People are just worn out completely from all of this. It's stress.
It's just, it's stress. It's stress. I mean, I got to tell you, you know, I'm not proud of some of the things that I've felt and said over this last 4 or 5 months. But, you know, the only thing I know is that when I seek to be a nice person to people, I think that's the best path to go. And it makes me feel better. And that's where I have to start, is with myself, so that I can project out a feeling of peace to people. And that's where this music is speaking for us better than if I were to just go out and talk. I mean, the music kind of lulls people into wanting to hear the words. And so I think the tone of this record is retro. It envelops every influence that I've ever had. You know, it's got some Beatles in it. It's got some Eagles in it. It's got some Neil Young in it. It's got, you know, every influence that I've ever felt, I believe, comes to play in this music. And not that I tried to emulate it. It went so fast that it was just a thing. It's like, you know, dropping a glass of milk on the floor. You can't catch it. You know, this just happened. It just happened.
Yeah. And you know, I can tell. I mean, the influences. Anyone who's at my age will appreciate the fact that you're drawing from a lot of musical talent and a repertoire that includes so many great artists, but you put your own slant on it. You know, we're playing along, and suddenly, okay, well, here a little bit there, a little bit there. Okay, that sounds a little bit like that person, but then you put your slant on it, and your slant.
It might pass like one of the shooting stars behind you. I think it's just a brief little glance of the ghost of a song past.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a good way of saying it. You know, it's like, and I think it's. I think what that does is, like I said, it's like comfort. You know, it's Southern comfort. I don't mean the drink necessarily, but it gives you a sense of the Southern comfort of something from the past, but reinvigorated into something new.
Right.
And isn't that really what we would like to have. I mean, to you know, don't just you know, throw away the past completely, but take elements of the past, reinvigorate it into something better, newer, and good for everyone.
No doubt.
That
No
would
doubt.
be the ideal.
That's a
Well, thank you so much for having us, Peter. We sure appreciate it.
Well, I've loved having you here. It's been so natural and comfortable. I like to use that word, but you do engender that kind of a feeling in your music and also in your presence, having your personal expression is so well. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but basically, it's great. It's great having you on the show. What do you have?
Peter.
I guess now you're going to be, you know, obviously doing a lot of shows online and to tour. You can't tour, but you can certainly do shows like this and get the word out about your new album. And I'm going to finish with the studio version of "Change My Mind." How's that?
Nice.
Is that what it's
Change My
called?
Mind.
Change My Mind.
Which
Is
one?
that- because there's so many songs you've done. The one that
I don't know
you
that- I don't know
sang,
that.
you sang it.
Oh,
Change-
Grow Me a New Mind.
Grow Me a New Mind. Grow Me a New Mind. That's the idea.
That's
Grow Me a
right.
New Mind. I'm going to play that at the end. But before we go, anything else you want to add? Where people can? I mean, I'm going to put all your links at the end of the show, as well as at the bottom under the video. But do you have anything else you want to add before we close?
Well, I would just say anyone that wants to support us or any artist to, if you go to the artist website and purchase from them directly, that's the best way to support these artists. We have a whole line of merchandise that's coming out, should be in this week. And so check it out. We'll be doing some syndicated shows pretty soon, so look for those and just, we'll get out there eventually. We'll be on the road at some
Okay.
We would
point.
love to come to Canada
Yes, well,
if
I'm
you ever
sure-
land your ship again.
I absolutely. I mean, where I am located, just north of Montreal, this is where I usually land my spacecraft, and people can come and visit. There is a small door price to get in because you know, it's maintenance fees and what have you, and people can actually experience weightlessness.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, whatever's happening when the power goes out, you turn into an X-ray of yourself, and it's just a beautiful thing. I think you're going through
I know.
a galaxy change.
Yes, there's something going on.
There you go.
Kind of a transformation. It's very funny.
It is beautiful.
Very funny. Okay, great. So
It's like you go from Peter to John Belushi in like with a bow tie.
that's very funny.
It's
That's very
beautiful.
funny. Yeah. That is great. It was great talking to you too. And I'm going to
Awesome.
say bon voyage from Quebec, because that's our language, French. Bon voyage. Have a good trip, safe
Thank you.
journey, and we'll meet again.
I
I
hope
hope so.
so.
Thank you,
All
Peter.
right.
Thank you, Peter.
Take care now. Bye-bye.
Take care.
You too. God bless.